Welcome back, deep divers. Today, we're going to unlock that champion inside each of us with some wisdom from taking your life to the next level.
Sounds intense.
Oh, it is. Have you ever felt that, burning desire for success? You know, that drive to reach your full potential?
Absolutely. Who hasn't?
Well, this text dives deep into that, and it all starts with this story about a young guy who's, desperate to be a millionaire, right? So he goes searching for this wise guru.
Classic story setup.
Right. But instead of giving him some secret formula or someone, the guru takes him to the beach at 4 a.m.
4 a.m. sounds rough.
Oh, it gets rougher. It's for, well, let's call it an intense swimming lesson.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. What happens?
So picture this.
Yeah.
The guru basically holds the guy underwater.
Holds him underwater. Like, really?
Yeah, almost to the point of drowning. It's pretty dramatic, but it definitely makes you think, you know?
I bet. So what's the point of this unorthodox swimming lesson?
Well, when the guy's gasping for air, the guru asks him, what did you want more than anything in that moment? And of course, the guy's like, to breathe.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So is that the big revelation? Wanting success like you need air?
That's exactly when the guru hits him with the real lesson. He says, when you want success as much as you wanted to breathe just now, then and only then will you have it.
Wow, that's powerful. So it's not just about setting goals, but about having this deep primal desire. It's like that fuel that pushes you through anything.
It really makes you think about your own level of commitment, doesn't it?
Definitely. What else does this text explore?
It goes on to challenge a lot of common ideas we have about success, like the whole natural-born champion thing. There's this one line that really got me thinking. Talent is hard work repeated over and over.
I like that. So it's not just about having some magical gift. It's about consistent effort.
Exactly. It's about busting that myth of effortless talent. In fact, the text even uses Arthur Rubinstein, the famous pianist, as an example.
Oh, I know. And wasn't he considered like a prodigy?
He was. But even he practiced for hours every day, even after becoming super famous.
Really? I would have thought someone at his level could coast a bit.
Nope, not Rubinstein. He once said, if I miss practice one day, I notice. 2 days, the critics notice. 3 days, the public notices.
So even natural talent needs to be cultivated. It makes you wonder, if someone like Rubinstein put in that much effort, what does that mean for the rest of us?
Right. What does it say about the role of dedication and discipline in achieving success?
And the text goes on to say that when we're young, we tend to rely a lot on raw talent. But as we mature, it becomes more about experience and consistent effort.
So that initial spark of talent isn't enough on its own.
It's like that ratio flips. The author suggests it goes from 90% talent in youth to 90% work ethic later on.
It's almost like that talent becomes the foundation, but the work ethic is what builds the masterpiece.
That's a great analogy. It reminds me of the story in the text about that stand-up comedian who struggled for 15 years before getting his big break.
Oh, yeah. He just kept refining his act, bombing on stage, learning from every single experience, and eventually he achieved that success he always wanted.
Makes you think about where you want to be in 15 years and what kind of effort you need to be putting in now to get there.
Absolutely. And the text doesn't pretend that it'll be easy. It talks about those roadblocks on the path to success. Specifically, it mentions ignorance and arrogance.
Those are some big ones. I can see how they could trip you up.
Well, ignorance keeps us in the dark, right? Prevents us from learning what we need to know. And arrogance can make us blind to our weaknesses.
And probably makes us less open to feedback, too. So how do we deal with those challenges?
The text emphasizes the importance of self-awareness, being honest about where we are, recognizing our strengths, and, importantly, our weaknesses, too.
Right. That's how we get better. And there's that really powerful quote in the text. If you want to see who you are, you look to your past. If you want to see who you will become, look at your current reality.
So it's about understanding where we've been, where we are now, and using that knowledge to move forward.
Exactly. And it all goes back to that intense desire we talked about at the beginning. To truly want something, you need to know where you stand and how much work it's going to take to get there.
It's about facing that reality head on and being willing to put in the effort. Okay, so we've talked about that burning desire, hard work, and self-awareness. But how do we actually, move forward? How do we overcome all those everyday obstacles?
Well, one thing the text really emphasizes is the power of mentorship.
Makes sense, but isn't that a bit cliche, find your guru on top of the mountain kind of thing?
Yeah, but it's not just about finding that one big shot to guide you. The text actually says mentors come in many forms.
So it's not just about like those who've made it.
Right. It could be peers, colleagues, even folks just starting out. Everyone has their own perspective.
So basically anyone can teach us something, right?
Absolutely. The text even says you can look to the past, study historical figures as a form of mentorship.
That's like a whole team of virtual mentors throughout history.
Exactly. And don't forget those who challenge us, push us out of our comfort zone.
Yeah, sometimes we need someone to shake things up a bit, We get stuck in our own ways.
The text uses the analogy of iron sharpening iron. It's through that friction we become stronger.
But it's not all about tough love, is it?
Yeah.
We need support too, right? People who believe in us.
Oh, absolutely. A supportive community is so important. Especially when you face setbacks, they're like your cheering section.
It's like having a safe space to take risks, even fail, and learn from those failures.
Speaking of failure, the text has a really interesting take on it. It's not the opposite of success. It's part of the journey.
Oh, I love that. Like that Edison quote, I haven't failed, I just found 10,000 ways that won't work.
Exactly. It's about having that experimental mindset, trying new things, even if you mess up along the way.
So failure is just data, right? It helps us grow.
Totally. Does the text give examples of how to do that? Like how to actually use failure?
Yeah, it emphasizes analyzing those failures.
Yeah.
Not just feeling bad, but asking, what can I learn from this? How can I adjust?
Mhm.
So it's like turning setbacks into like data points. They inform our future decisions.
Exactly. And recognizing that failure, well, it just happens. It's part of the growth process. Even the best have failed.
Yeah, it's not about avoiding failure altogether, right? It's bouncing back, being resilient.
And that's where mentors and supporters come in again. They help us see things differently, encourage us.
Like this combo, right? Desire, hard work, embracing failure, support. What else is there?
Self-awareness is huge. Without it, we fall into ignorance and arrogance, those traps we talked about.
It's that inner compass,
Right.
knowing our strengths, weaknesses, all of it.
We need to always be aiming for improvement.
Layer by layer, effort, self-reflection, support. But what about like the actual work?
The text is super clear. Consistent action. Having a goal isn't enough. Got to take steps every day.
Put in the work, even when it's hard.
Yeah.
Discipline and focus, which the text says become even more important as we get older.
It shifts,
Yeah.
right? From that initial talent to consistent effort.
Reminds me of the rugby player in the text. He'd stay late after practice running extra laps, and he was already a star.
What? Why would he do that if he was already at the top?
He said, if I wanted to be half as good as the best Springbok player, I'd need to work twice as hard as him.
That's some serious dedication. It's about those high standards, going the extra mile.
But also, success is a journey, not a finish line.
Always something to improve, another level to reach.
So we need that growth mindset, willingness to learn and keep pushing ourselves.
And it all ties back into that champion within each of us.
Not comparing ourselves to others, but embracing our own unique strengths.
Becoming the best version of ourselves, whatever that looks like. It's not about seeking approval from others, really.
It's that internal shift, right? Aligning with our own values and purpose.
Fulfilling our own potential. Is there anything else in the text that helps with that?
Let me think.
One thing it emphasizes is the importance of belief.
You mean believing in ourselves?
Yeah.
Like we can actually achieve our goals.
Exactly. Without that core belief, the hard work, the mentorship, it won't be enough.
So how do we build that kind of belief? Especially when we're feeling, doubtful.
The text suggests focusing on past successes, surrounding ourselves with positive people. It even mentions affirmations.
Like talking to ourselves in a positive way.
Yeah.
Boosting our own confidence.
Exactly. Shifting that inner dialogue from I can't to I can, from I'm not good enough to I am capable.
And it's not just words, right? It's focusing on our strengths, celebrating our wins, letting go of negativity.
Because when we're around positivity, it's easier to stay positive, even when things get tough.
And the text takes it a step further, right? It's not just believing in ourselves, it's believing in something bigger.
Yes, a higher purpose, a mission, something that gives meaning to our lives.
Could be a spiritual belief,
Yeah.
a cause, anything that makes a positive impact on the world.
Exactly. Because when we're connected to something bigger, it fuels us, motivates us.
Provides a framework, like a compass, guiding our choices.
So it's not just personal success, it's about contributing to something meaningful, something that makes a real difference.
And that's what makes a champion, right?
Hmm.
Inner strength, belief, and a commitment to something beyond ourselves.
It's all connected. It's powerful stuff. It takes us back to the guru and that young guy.
Yeah, the guru wasn't just talking about desire, right? He was talking about the power of belief and aligning our actions with our aspirations.
It's like wanting success with every fiber of your being, but also believing in yourself and your purpose, then actually doing something about it.
It's all about taking action.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up, there's one last piece of the puzzle: our thoughts.
Our thoughts. Yeah, the text is big on having a positive mindset.
It makes sense, though. Our thoughts influence everything, right? Our actions, our results.
It's like we're gardening, but in our minds. What we plant, whether it's doubt or confidence, is what grows.
We have to be mindful of what's going on in our heads. Weed out the negative, plant positive, empowering thoughts.
Shift from I can't to I can. From I'm not enough to I am capable.
It's amazing how powerful that shift can be. And remember, it's not just about positive self-talk. It's about who we surround ourselves with.
Celebrating those wins, focusing on what we're good at.
Positivity breeds positivity. It helps us through those tough times. So much to think about when it comes to this whole champion idea. We've talked about mindset, beliefs, even the power of our thoughts. But there's that one thing that keeps coming up:
What's that?
consistent effort. It seems like it's kind of a big deal, right?
Oh, it is. The text is really clear about that. Actually, it even says that most people, well, they just don't have the stamina to really put in the work every day to reach their full potential.
Wow, that's like kind of harsh, isn't it?
It's honest, though. I mean, think about it. It's easy to get all excited about a goal at first, but it's the day in, day out effort that really matters.
So true. It's like a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
But how do we make that happen? How do we cultivate that kind of consistent effort?
Well, the text emphasizes discipline and focus, making sure our energy is going towards actions that actually move us forward. There's that great example in the text about the rugby player, the one who stayed late after practice running extra laps, even though he was already a star player.
Yeah, I remember that. I was thinking, why push yourself that hard if you're already at the top?
His answer was so good. He said, if I wanted to be half as good as the best Springbok player, I would need to work twice as hard as the best Springbok player.
Wow. That's such a powerful way to look at it. So it's about setting high standards for yourself
Yeah.
and, not letting up, even when you think you've made it.
Exactly. It's like recognizing that success, it's not a destination, it's an ongoing journey.
Always something to improve,
Yeah.
right? Always another level to aim for.
You got it.
So we need that growth mindset, that willingness to learn and push ourselves. And it seems like all of this comes back to that champion within each of us.
It all connects.
It's not about comparing ourselves to others or trying to fit some mold.
Right. It's about embracing what makes us unique, our strengths, our talents,
And becoming the best versions of ourselves.
on our own terms. It's not about impressing anyone else.
Yeah, it's about that inner transformation, that feeling of knowing you're living in alignment with your values.
It's fulfilling your own potential.
That's what it's all about. Well, deep divers, as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a few questions to ponder. What makes you a champion? What are those qualities and strengths that you bring to the table? What are those goals and dreams that light you up inside? And, most importantly, what can you do today to bring that champion within you to life?
We hope this deep dive has given you the insights and tools to do just that, to unlock your full potential and create a life that truly reflects who you are. Thanks for joining us.
And remember, you have that power within you. Believe in yourself, enjoy the journey, and never give up on those dreams. Until next time, keep diving deep.